We're back with a new set of casters. Hello, Carson. How you doing?
Hello. I'm pretty good, pretty good. A little tired, but I think I'll be woken up by these sweet 2v2s as I was for that last series. Very, very entertaining. Very well played for both players. We got to see an ultimate the first game of the day. What more could we ask for?
Exactly. You're a busy man, Carson. Casting W3Champions yesterday, the Weekly Cup the day before, yesterday Dust League as well, and now you're back. What's the secret of your never-ending energy?
White wine.
You were supposed to say
wine.
holy.
And holy,
you know, our sponsor.
I have my shaker somewhere. I have my shaker somewhere.
You know, our sponsor that pumps us up for these broadcasts. Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Actually, yeah.
Okay, now I'm curious.
Look at this guy.
I keep it next to my desk.
There we go.
At all times.
There we go.
Literally right next to my computer at all times. Yeah. Okay. Always. Always.
Excellent, Carson. Very well prepared. Are you prepared for this game as well? It's Starbuck KraV versus cH1LLer and elegnem.
I may not be, but I got my good friend Monk to help me out, so he's going to guide me through it.
Okay,
I'm
Monk.
gonna do my best.
We are ready, as it seems. The game is starting. Starbuck and KraV, the big favorites for the tournament, versus cH1LLer and elegnem, the big underdogs of the tournament.
Yeah, this could potentially be the most one-sided series or the sickest upset we've ever seen.
All right. I don't want to prevent you from casting this game any longer, boys. Take it away.
All right, Monk. So, Mr. Bucky here in the bottom right did go random to, I think, everyone's surprise. Maybe not everyone's. My surprise. I consider myself to be everyone. That's a little sociopathic of me. But my surprise, he went random, and he got Orc, and then obviously KraV is going to be sticking to Orc. And then we do have ch1LLer in the north spawn as the Orc as well. And then a player that I have honestly never seen before in my entire life, but I assume because he's made it here, he's quite strong indeed. We have elegnem as our human player. So walk me through this. So this is undead Orc versus Orc human. I would say on paper, correct me if I'm wrong, the Orc human would be the better of the two.
I would say undead orc and orc human. I would say there's no like really strong or weak combos per se. Generally, I would say both undead orc and orc human are pretty strong combos overall. But when it comes to Starbuck and KraV, like all the rules are thrown out the window because they do not play like a standard undead and orc. Typically, the dynamic of 2v2 is such that oftentimes one race will go melee and the other race will go range.
Oh, that's unfortunate, especially with a random player in the game. Oh, unlucky.
Oops. That is a desync.
Nice for you when he says.
Wow, greatest upset of all time.
Wow, 1-0 cH1LLer and elegnem. There we go. My game crashed as well. If I'm not mistaken, the rules say that you have to play with the race that you random now.
But they hadn't scouted yet either. Yeah, that's always been very. It feels like there's no perfect way to do that. Yeah.
Well, there would be with a resume from replay option, but unfortunately, there's no. We don't have that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Blizzard ruined that as well, among other things. There was a time. Although it was never really used that often, though. I feel like back in the day. I mean, I guess you guys were around back then more than I was. I feel like it was rarely ever used. All right. And I guess, no, the spawns will be the same. It's not a map that can be shifted on its axis. This is a map, Tidewater Glades, that will always be the same spawns in terms of where your teammate is. So it shouldn't affect it too much, although they are going to have to give away the information that Mr. Bucky got Orc. You know, you would just hope from the side of ch1LLer and elegnem, they'll stick to the strategy they're playing, because they're doing something very, very specific that we can get into once we jump back into the game. We'll see if they do the same hero choices, but it was a very unique thing we were seeing from ch1LLer and elegnem, but I guess that remains to be seen.
Yeah, just to go back to talking about Starbuck and KraV, I think 90% of undead players in 2v2 would go a fast fiend opening or just fiends as an option. and the dynamic of 2v2 is such that oftentimes you have one melee person and one ranged guy. And I would say in 90% of situations you would have the undead player going ranged and you would have the orc player going melee.
Yep.
But as we saw in that last match, we actually had a Crypt Lord first from KraV, and we had Farseer Headhunter from Starbuck. So I believe what they were trying to do, which is it's almost a Starbuck and KraV special, is a fast expansion with Crypt Lord.
Right.
And you use the strength of the Farseer Headhunters in order to defend any timing pushes that come.
Gotcha. Okay, so since there was no scout, apparently random again for Mr. Bucky. So we roll the dice once more, and we go into Tidewater Glades for the second time as well.
Oh.
All right. So instead of Undead Orc, where there was no clear favorite in terms of the races for both players, now we have double Undead, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, this seems awful. Maybe they have a way of playing it, though.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, yeah, this is probably, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the worst combo, but it's certainly the least common combo when you're talking about high-level 2v2. We see deviation here, which is that Starbuck is the one who's going to be going the fast fiends. Meanwhile, KraV is opening the same thing with an altar, with a crypt and altar opening. So I'm curious as to see whether it's going to be a Crypt Lord first, and if it is, I would say that the double undead team combo is going to have a much harder time defending any timing pushes relative to the orc undead combo, because fiends and a death knight are not going to be as strong as straight up defense relative to a Farseer and mass headhunters.
Makes perfect sense. And you just to just touch on the double undead, I'm sure Starbuck would not be playing random if they did not have a strategy figured out for every single combination of races. I'm sure they know exactly what they're going to be doing here. Interesting on the other side, Chiller and Elegnem, Blood Mage, Shadowhunter. Is this common? Is this crazy? Is this a cheese? What are we looking at here? Have you seen this before?
Yeah, so I haven't seen this exact hero combination before, but Shadowhunter first is something that I wouldn't say is necessarily common, but it's not the most uncommon thing. What you would do typically is you just go out on the map and try to pick off individual like fiends or just units with the hex. And I think with the Blood Mage, you can constantly supply your Shadowhunter with hex mana the whole time. So we're gonna see human and orc yet again running across the map. And it's going to be possibly run into this one fiend and take out this one fiend if they execute well.
Yeah, it is actually, I would definitely agree with the hex and feeding mana here. I've seen that commonly as well, but it's actually Serpent Wards, weirdly enough, and
wow.
2 barracks from the side of Elegnem. So this is a pure all-in. The militia that were called from Elegnem pulled the creeps a little bit. The aggro on that expansion has always been a little bit weird on this map, but this is just mass Serpent Wards, the true 4v4 all-in strategy here, but with only one Shadowhunter this time around. But a Crypt Lord, I think, in this situation is going to be quite useful to defend this, especially with the graveyard in the back.
Yeah, this is amazing. I have never seen this, but the fact that it ran into double Crypt Lord opening, possibly the best hero you can pick against this particular strategy, is extremely unlucky for Elegnem and Chiller.
Yeah, I think in the last game they would have ran into, I suppose, Farseer Headhunters, which also would have been double summon hero, but yeah, this is not ideal to say the least. The surround wasn't ideal either. A couple of botches there, but the fiends in the back are always going to be able to take care of the Serpent Wards. They are attempting to get towers up, but the already bruised peasants are going to go down to the summons, and this push is pretty much over before it started. There could be a follow-up. I mean, Shadowhunter and Blood Mage are good heroes later on if they want to transition out of this, and every player is still pretty much tier 1. So it's not the end of the road, but this push ain't going to win it.
Yeah, I don't think a single undead unit that isn't a summon has fallen yet, and meanwhile there's one grunt. Okay, I guess there's one grunt and 2 footmen left, and a hurt grunt. This is not looking good at all. The Crypt Lord of both hit level 2. Meanwhile, we have just a tiny bit of experience from killing summons on the Blood Mage and Shadowhunter. We have an Impale going on the Legum's Blood Mage. He's gonna not
Dude, they
hold
just
this round
cannot
because of
surround.
Ground.
They've missed so many surrounds. I think Starbuck missed like 4 surrounds on that Blood Mage. Then he used an Impale out of frustration. Then he almost dropped out of the game out of frustration. But the surrounds aren't that important. Like any good strategy, the surrounds should not matter. But staying in the game does, Monk, as it turns out.
Yeah. Oh, Bucky.
Hopefully.
He said in the lobby that he was on a laptop.
Let's be honest, KraV could win this 2v1 at this stage.
Yeah, that's true.
He would probably stay if Starbuck DC'd. Well, KraV lagging as well, apparently. But yeah, absolutely a winning position right now for Starbuck and KraV. KraV on his way to tier 2. They're both teching, I believe, now.
Yeah, mobile hotspot. Yeah, laptop gaming,
nice.
mobile hotspot is the problem.
Oh, yeah, that's about right. Well, yeah, that's a perfect way to play a tournament. Starbuck, true Giga Chad, as Reba Demo said in the lobby.
Is this the? What a baller!
Absolute Giga Chad.
Yeah. What a ball. You know, I never hope that anyone disconnects from a tournament match, but if someone disconnects, like if someone has to disconnect, I think this would be the game to do so, because I just want to see KraV 2v1 or 1v2 his opponents at this point.
Yeah, I think he does keep playing if he DCs, which is super weird.
What are the rules here?
Yeah, can he decide to play it out or regame, or I guess at this stage he probably couldn't regame, right? It's probably too late. GG free win against the elegnem, but I think KraV will play it out. Okay, so Starbuck did disconnect, and it seems like KraV. I mean, it's 2 undeads. It's just KraV plays 2 base all the time.
I love the humor from elegnem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten +1 fan today. Oh, look at this sportsmanship.
Go 1v1.
1v1. Or remake. I don't know what's happening.
I think they can do whatever they want here. I mean, yeah, go 1v1. I mean, I do think they're too far behind to ask for a regame, but I mean, it was KraV's side that disconnected, so a counter all in, as it seems, which tends to be the easiest way to play when you have to play 2v1, or in this case, 1v1, I guess.
The funny thing is, both the undeads are actually teching right now, so they can theoretically play a long game. Oh, but now we have a tower rush. Great.
All right, a couple of fiends are falling. Of course, the micro's going to get a little bit sloppy. We could see Militia being called, but I believe it's Chiller that's still in the game, right? So the Orc player, the bottom side, is still in the game. So maybe not all the hotkeys on the human side are set yet, but he could call Militia, try to cancel those towers. There's a decent number of Serpent Wards, but the macro, of course, slipping on every front right now. And there's the Militia that's going to help cancel level 2 in the Blood Mage, but this game is just pure chaos, Monk.
Yeah, Blood Mage goes down. Towers are falling, but I think just the sheer number of summons from the Crypt Lords is gonna close out the game. Militia are just going into the slaughter. Level 3 Crypt Lord from KraV, showing he is, of course, the dominant Crypt Lord. He is the lordiest of the Crypt Lords.
Yeah. Both level 3 now, though. Shadowhunter levels up as well, but all of what were Legnem's peasants are going to be dying soon, and we're truly going to be in a 1v1 situation here once this human base is done so. But of course, what was Starbuck's base was now teching as well, so this is going to be like a tier 3 undead, at least a tier 2 undead on both sides, and Chiller leaves the game, and I think even without what ended up being a 1v1, I do think that Starbuck and KraV were in a winning position before any of that happened, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess our admin can check if Chiller and elegnem want to have this count. Or if we do this again. That was just odd.
Yeah, it's weird that it's weird that elegnem left. That was strange.
Yeah. if they run it again, I'm not sure. I'm not sure like whether it's gonna come to the same result because it seems like with this strategy, with like KraV and Starbuck strategy, they always go for a summon hero with mass ranged. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the worst result might be like even if it's human undead, like and there's no really good range option for the human player. You have human undead, which are kind of the two more unrushable races, right?
Is
I
it?
guess the best option would be if Starbuck rolled Night Elf and then they could do that strategy.
Yeah, for sure. That would probably be best case scenario. Absolutely, with the towers and net elf space. Yeah, it seems like there's a little bit of confusion here. Elegnem left. Is he trolling about the regame?
I don't think
do
so.
not think he's trolling.
He's not because he left. I mean, obviously, KraV has the option to play that very one position out 2v1 if he wants to, right? You can't just be like, oh, you DC'd regame, right? Am I wrong? I think that was totally
And
fair for KraV to play that out 2v1.
Starbuck also wants a
Starbuck
regame.
Yeah.
Starbuck just wants to play a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
So it's
I'm totally up for that. Bonus game.
bonus game indeed. And Remo Demo is slapping down the hammer. If Starbuck drops again, KraV can play 1-on-2. That's just fair.
Mm-hmm.
Only at the W3Champions Finals 2-on-2 you see a double Crypt Lord and 3 times a first game.
Hey, we need a little bit of a buffer anyway, so this is perfect. We get a little bit more entertainment in the 2v2s.
Exactly. And it is more quality time with Monk, so we all win.
True. Why don't we just continuously have regames, force the players to basically spend Groundhog's Day in a constant, never-ending state of 2v2?
I mean, it would be a little different because they're on random, so it's different strategies all the time. I'm in for it.
I don't know if it's going to be different strategies though, because we might just have Shadowhunter Blood Mage pushes.
Yeah, they're just gonna
into
all in
undead
again, or they're
bases.
gonna be
Yeah.
like, screw this, we're gonna play standard. I mean, Starbuck's gonna get a different race for the third time in a row potentially. So, and as you mentioned, if he gets Night Elf, maybe there's a decent chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, there's a chance. There's always a chance.
Starbuck says, pray for my hotspot, so you guys out there know what to do. It's Sunday anyway, so get the prayers out.
It's funny because I was talking to Starbuck like a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm practicing really hard for this 2-on-2 tournament," and then he plays on a mobile hotspot for the actual tournament.
Yeah, why wouldn't he have internet in his weekend house? Like, if he is able to afford a weekend house, shouldn't he be able to afford internet there as well? Starbuck.
Guess it depends how secluded it is, I suppose. Maybe it's in the mountains, on a lake on 50 acres. That's what I'm imagining. He's just in a robe right now, looking out a window onto a frozen lake where he ice fishes.
In the summer.
Yeah, there's ice everywhere in the world at one point, isn't there?
Okay, I'm not arguing with that. Let's go.
Antarctica's a place, Neo.
Yeah. Great transition.
Thank you. Antarctica is even a continent, one might say. And undead again, Monk. Okay, hopefully they don't cheese twice in a row. 3 times in a row, even.
Well, I would love to just commentate a repeat of the last game where a Blood Mage and a Shadowhunter run into double Crypt Lord.
Yeah.
Already have like the undead already has like 20 free units before the human and orc team can even get into their base. But we'll see if it's a run back. Let's check out the altars of the human and undead team, or human and orc team. We have a Blood Mage for Elegnem, and we have a Shadowhunter for Chiller. I wonder what's going to happen next, Carson.
Yeah, I have argued in the past that I don't know if morally is the right way to put it, but that's the best word I can find for it. If there is ever a DC and you have to regame, that let's just use the word. Morally, the right thing to do is just do the same strategy. Again, both players just do the same thing, especially if the DC is like 5 minutes in, just do the same thing. Do that little dance, that little fake game, and then, okay, we're in new territory eventually. But in this case, this is the first time I've been like, I don't even care. Like, if you want to change your strategy and metagame them, I am not bothered whatsoever if they want to switch it up at game number 3 here. But they're sticking to it. They play the same 3 strats 3 times in a row, and I respect it. Even if it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, elegnem. It sends a fast militia scout to find out, oh, where's Starbuck? We're definitely gonna rush Starbuck because he's not gonna be the undead player. But he runs into the undead, another undead yet again. Starbuck's spawning as undead, of course. And we have a lich this time. This is gonna be the one variation. And I guess you could argue that a lich is worse off at defending a tower rush relative to a second crypt ward. But still, I mean, you have a crypt lord on your team anyways.
Yeah, you still have the undead base to work with on both sides. You can get a Nerubian, you can get tons of skeletons. Undead. There's a reason we don't see a lot of tower rushes to undead. There's a reason we don't see a lot of cheese builds, at least on tier 1 against undead. But here's the push regardless. Forward Nerubian will be finished. It's being repaired as well. And the militia this time did not run into the creeps, which is already an upgrade from the first game. 3 serpent wards could be quite good against the ghouls if they're focus fired.
Yeah, we have a second Nerubian coming up as well, and this is definitely going way better than the last game. However, the Shadowhunter is getting focused. I wonder if he's even going to TP. No, the Shadowhunter just falls from the combination of the Nerubian tower and the focus fire from the ghouls. We have a Novus going down, Crypt Lord still chasing, and just the sheer number of ghouls means that this push, I don't know, is this... I would say it's maybe going better than the last game, but still, I haven't seen a single undead unit fall yet.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge it when they haven't lost a unit in 3 games, but yeah, the push has been stopped. Now all the peasants have gone down. There's just so much undead. Will they finally land this surround? It's probably hard for Starbuck if he's on a laptop trackpad to land the surrounds, but won't actually matter here too much. There he gets to Nova and can probably lock this bad boy in.
Oh no!
The surrounds just aren't on Starbuck's side this series so far.
That's the handicap in this game. You can't land surrounds.
Yes, exactly. Make it a little bit more difficult. Okay, so Chiller, is that a tech I see? It is indeed. So we're going to try to transition into some semblance of a standard game, but it will be very, very difficult to pull back ahead.
You know, the funny thing here, I think, is that if Chiller and elegnem had gone for like a standard strategy, I think they would have like a much better chance against double undead, especially when they're both opening ghouls. Oh, look at this in the top left of the map. We have a very cheeky, very sneaky expansion attempt from KraV.
Yeah, this is a very KraV move. He loves these sort of things, and not likely to be scouted. I mean, oftentimes on Tidewater Glades, you will creep this side of the map quite quickly. Like the red camps are even very much creepable early on with both players. But with how this game is going with the push towards the bottom right to Starbuck's base, I guess expansion will go unscouted for probably the rest of this game. But I suppose the push at hand is the thing that the undeads have to worry about right now, not necessarily that expansion.
Yeah, we have... another push attempt right here, and no TP by KraV. I believe he sold his TP, so he's gonna get to this base a little late. So I would say there's probably a slightly better chance that these towers come up in this game.
Yeah, we'll be the first tower to come up in 3 games. We'll see. The shop may get canceled. Crippler comes in, does have a Ring of the Archmagi, which he found, which if the players are really, really aware of the map, they would know what he had prepped now. So that maybe is some information they can gain. The footmen are buying space and time for the towers, and at least one of those 3 is going to get up. No Arcane Tower, though. It's triple guard tower. Very surprised by that. But they might still get up.
Yeah, the Arcane Tower would have been really great against the mass summons that we see from the Crypt Lord. But, you know, Guard Tower, not so bad itself, except it's going to fall rather quickly.
Yeah, all of them are dying. Again, there's just so much undead here. The snakes, although they're very, very loud, they're not doing a ton of damage right now, and that's about all they're doing is just screaming into the void as the undead is pretty much killing everything. Not to mention Nerubian and Halls of the Dead now in the front. Lich out of mana, but auto attacks may be all that KraV and Starbuck need. Not to mention that expansion pretty much fully saturated now. Yeah, it is fully saturated. And this is looking close to Dunzo. They did get some unit kills, though, Monk. They got some unit kills.
Yeah, I would say an improvement. You know, if we run this again, like maybe a few hundred times, like I'm pretty sure that eventually elegnem and chiller would win this. At this rate, at least. This rate of constant improvement.
Yes, exactly. Maybe the strat is viable against double undead after all. We just have to get to that point of improvement. Heal salves purchased before the shop goes down. Maybe this is the surround that lands. Okay, at long last. I thought the peon was blocking the top side, but no. Blood Mage will have to TP. And with that will be a couple of peasants and a couple of footmen and the end of this push as Chiller also goes back home with the Shadow Hunter and level 4 Crypt Lord. Do we have tier 3 techs? No, we have a tier 2 now. Finishing for KraV and tier 3 on the way for Mr. Bucky. On the side of elegnem, he's still tier 1, killing a farm right now. And Chiller, double bestiary, Torn Chieftain on tier 2, trying to play Wind Riders.
Yeah, I gotta say, these guys definitely have grit. I probably would have certainly left the game by now, given that as the human player, I am tier 1 with 2 racks and a solo Blood Mage.
Yeah, they might be relying on the surprise factor of the Wind Riders, and they obviously don't know about that expansion from KraV yet, but, you know, you never know. If 4 Wind Riders come out, you're against pretty close to pure ghouls right now. Maybe they could trade favorably, but if only they knew about that expansion.
It's funny because right here, the dual undeads are going with what I like to call the most anti-synergistic combo ever, which is Starbuck is going for Web in order to counter the Wyvern and some Necromancers, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, we have KraV going Gargoyles in order to counter the Wind Rider, so that'll be fun, I guess.
Yeah, the Gargs, instead of using their really strong anti-air attack, get to use their anti-ground attack against the webbed Wind Riders. That'll be funny to see.
Well, it might be an improvement because of the armor matchup. You know, we really
True.
gotta go for that piercing damage versus light.
Yeah, very, very high IQ, actually, at the end of the day. All right, Town Portal out. Red Camps become very, very possible now that we have a few Wind Riders on the table. I mean, actually, they could probably creep with this army they have right now, but they're just going to continue to pressure, trying to hide towers. And it is Necromancers on the side of Starbuck.
To be honest, I don't think Necromancers is like... There's not really a reason to go Necromancers.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Starbucks is just doing it for the lulz at this point.
Yeah, Unholy Frenzy, I suppose, on that Lich. Never a bad thing to see. There's the first web of what's going to be many. The Flame Strike is good. But where is the Wind Rider numbers? I feel like we should have more than just, what was that, only 2 here. I guess it was pure Raiders afterwards, but I feel like Wind Riders would have been the right call. Maybe Hero Focus with the Ensnare. Torn Chieftain, speaking of Hero Focus, about to fall. The Flame Strike is good, but there's just not enough DPS on the side of Chiller and elegnem, but the 2 towers in the back might get up.
Yeah, KraV has all the opportunity to come back TP to help his ally, but I think he's just going to let Bucky solo this to see if he can 1v2 it.
And it's looking likely.
Yeah. It's not the most difficult when you just have mass footmen as your army.
There's the 1G from one player, the second G from the other, like a true team. They fall together, and that's the 1-0 for Mr. Bucky and KraV.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Dreadlord Necromancers. I mean, there was a lot of dead units, resulting in corpses. Could potentially result in a lot of skeletons, but didn't even need that. 1-0 after 3 attempts, 3 times the charm again. But how unlucky for Chiller and elegnem to roll into double undead twice in a row with their strategy.
Yeah. I guess was really the only situation in which that strat would work would be if Starbuck got Night Elf, you think, Monk? Or like if he got Human, would that strat have been viable as well, you think?
I think the best case scenarios were Night Elf and Orc if the Orc player went for a Grunt opening rather than a Headhunter opening. But as we saw from one of the failed games that Starbuck would have gone for a Headhunter opening in that situation. So maybe not the best strat. Not a great showing from the human Orc players. They've been very, very one-dimensional lately. We have Phalo and Inspired going for like the 1-2 punch against the double Night Elf team in the last series. And in this game, we've seen 3 games already. It's been the same tower rush. I really hope for elegnem and Chiller's case that they have another strategy prepared, because it seems like this strategy is not working out quite well.
I do want to check their War3Champions profile just to look at their 2v2 games. And if I see a Blood Mage and a Shadow Hunter in every game, I'm actually going to be impressed more than anything. Let me see. I got to go to their old stats. But we are going to Shattered Exile, a bigger map. Yeah, I would say slightly bigger than Tidewater Glades. We get actually 3 maps that I know in this series. We have Twisted Meadows as our 3rd map if we do have the upset in game number 2. So excited to cast some maps that I'm familiar with. It's incredible.
Professional caster finally able to cast maps that he knows. Incredible, Carson. Well,
I even know some of the creep camps now.
Very good, very good. That's why we pay you. Yeah, if you read elegnem's name backwards, it would lead to the suggestion that he's quite experimental. So let's see if that is the case here. 1-0 for the favorites for KraV and Starbuck.
All right. We have on the top left, we have Mengele backwards, or elegnem. I'm not sure what I was supposed to read there. And on the bottom left, we have Chiller. We have KraV on the bottom right as the undead player going for a Crypt Altar build yet again. And we have Bucky as the Night Elf player. So maybe he's going to be more vulnerable to a harass this time, or a tower push rather. We'll see.
Yeah, it is a different build order for Chiller this time around. Farseer Headhunters. So I guess they just sort of was like, let's try this cheese strat for the first game and see if it works. And then they just sort of played it every game out of like respect for the disconnect. So you know, I do respect that. So now they're actually going to switch into something much more standard. Farseer Headhunters with the Archmage. But Mr. Bucky with the Warden. What a dirty, dirty boy. And a Dreadlord from KraV. Oh my god.
All right, so I think what's happening right now is that KraV realized, hey, I didn't get us around in any of the games, any of the games that we played. So I'm gonna really try to lock it in.
Yeah, if he messes this one up, I think he should retire.
Meanwhile, Bucky, he's going with the Warden, very, very uncommon hero for the Night Elf. We see Potom, Keeper, Demon Hunter, they're all very valid choices, but Warden is certainly the most uncommon Night Elf hero in 2v2. And I think part of it, the reason is that for most things, she just gets outclassed by the Panda, which we saw in the last series that we commented.
And also, I suppose Warden not the tankiest of heroes. I mean, agility, you have a lot of armor, but Warden tends to just die to sort of focus fire, and it is good against the Farseer, so Mr. Bucky gonna sort of accidentally have a really strong hero against both Chiller and elegnem's hero choice as well. I'm gonna get one Footman to start things off, but is this a fast expansion we're seeing from our Orc and our Human? It seems to be, unless those militia are going back home. They just wanted to creep this camp. Right, I'm surprised when they saw that Warden, I would think like, oh yeah, just expand. It's gonna be a level 1, level 2 Warden for a long time. What the hell is he gonna do? But they're not expanding. Oh, now it's KraV.
No. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And it looks like a second barracks is going up. I think what's happening here is they're faking an expansion. They're gonna do a very similar type of push, and it might work out pretty well because we have a Night Elf player number 1, and then we have a Warden, which is almost infamously bad against a tower push. Starbuck, however, he is scouted the lack of expansion, even though there's a tower. I wonder if, like, this is definitely a fake out. Like, he's like, oh, look at me, I'm trying my best to expand.
Yeah.
Please don't cancel this expansion. But in reality, he's just going for the all-in right now.
Yeah, honestly, I respect the hell out of this. Cheese your way. When you're up against a team that are probably the big favorites for the whole tournament, cheese the hell out of them. Be as cheesy as you possibly can. And here come the militia. 2 barracks headhunters, 2 barracks footmen, and defend on the way as well. And they get to the Night Elf base. Just a level 2 Warden. It's going to be pure hero focus, I'd have to imagine. Where else could the Shadow Strikes go? Are you going to do one headhunter at a time? No, I think you have to go for the heroes.
Yeah, this is going to work out I think the best it can. The Dreadlord not as good as a Crypt Lord or at defending this kind of push. We have Mass Wisp coming out, Ancient Protector coming out. We have the Hunters coming out as well. The Hunters are going to do pretty well initially. We have finally a surround. But wait, no surround. Oh, and I think KraV missed the sleep on the Farseer. He gets a Headhunter for his troubles, but I think he would have really preferred that Farseer surround.
Okay, they're nicely separating the armies from the towers so that they can kill the peasants and cancel. If these towers get up, the game would probably be lost. This is honestly best case scenario right now for Chiller and Elegnem. They have to close this one out here, I feel like. They have caught KraV and Starbuck off guard. They have better heroes, better army currently, but the towers are being canceled, and the AP in the back is going to get up for Starbuck. But, I mean, they're mass headhunters against Huntresses right now. They should, on paper, be able to win this one.
Yeah, on paper, but the Huntress count is going up pretty quickly, and we have a lot of footmen. Meanwhile, there's, I believe, only one crypt for KraV, so he's going to be reinforcing very quickly. As the game goes on, Chiller and Elegnem are going to, their reinforcements in general are going to be a little more numerous, so their army is going to get improved pretty quickly for this particular push.
Level 3 Warden now, that's level 2 Fan of Knives, and obviously going to be very, very good against Headhunters. Warden doesn't have any more mana now, and running low on health as well soon enough, but the, the Vampiric Aura actually helping that Warden a ton, weirdly enough. Sleep now on the Farseer, who has one more set of Wolves. More Militia coming in, but this push has been ended, and they find a way, KraV and Starbuck, to hold what seemed to be a really, really strong push, actually.
Yeah, two interesting choices. Starbuck actually really conserved his use of mana until he got level 3 Fan of Knives, which allowed him to cast 2 Fan of Knives. Meanwhile, I noticed there were no Carrion Swarms shot by KraV in that game, and that's because he went for level 2 Vampiric Aura, which is certainly an interesting choice.
Yeah, that is very different. That's very different. Yeah, he could have had level 2 Carrion Swarm right now, but I think the Vampiric Aura has helped out quite a bit, and it helps out the Dreadlord as well, even more, to keep him always topped off. This AP maybe went a little too far away from home, and there's a couple wisps to repair, but yeah, just getting fed so much experience. Not to mention there's an expansion up this whole time as well for KraV, so I think they'll be just fine as long as they keep their heroes happy and healthy. Also want to mention, Ring of Regen with that Vampiric Aura level 2. The Dreadlord is so healthy always, except for right now, right when I say that.
Yeah, it's the Caster's Curse all over again. I gotta think, like, if KraV had gone for just Carrion Swarm, the combination of Carrion Swarm and Fan would be so powerful. Oh, looks like we have a Shredder, we have a reinforcement of ghouls, and that's looking to be an overwhelming number of ghouls and huntresses against the hunters and footmen that are just getting chipped away throughout this entire fight.
Yeah, Dreadlord just chilling, taunting. The ghouls are doing enough, the Shredder's doing enough, and Chiller and Elegnem forced to back away. They get one more Huntress. And is that an expansion or just a tower? It's just half a tower, so there is no Expo for Elegnem. He's just trying to make it work at tier 1 base. And KraV, there's the Carrion Swarm.
I believe that was level 1. Level 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a interesting build.
Heal Scroll from Chiller to try to save some of these Headhunters. He could paper kite all day and really do some damage here. Huntresses and Ghouls are pretty terrible against Headhunters, honestly.
Yeah, unfortunately that was not the most effective scroll because he used it a little too late to save one Headhunter and he missed the second Headhunter. And as a result, all these Headhunters are just getting picked off. Only one Headhunter left, unfortunately. And KraV's like, you know, I need a handicap, so I'm actually going to fight the creeps instead.
And this might get Starbuck to level 5 Warden, which is not something I thought I would see in the 2v2s today, but apparently I will, and KraV gets there just in time to grab that item before the Farseer. Both KraV's Dreadlord and Starbuck's Warden are going to be level 5 soon, and two of the strongest heroes at high levels in the entire game, so this is horrifying for Chiller and Elegnem.
Yeah, I'm curious whether he goes for level 3 Fan or level 3 Shadow Strike. Both would be excellent choices here. Either you get a free Archmage kill, or you get a free entire army kill, I would say.
Yes. Fake Dreadlord distracting a little bit. The real Dreadlord is just around the corner. As is tier 3.
I kind of feel like that KraV is just like making these fake Dreadlords to give their opponents hope at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of trolling a bit because he just sent that one Dreadlord into the army.
And more footmen going down. Oh, the real Dreadlord now kind of trolling a little bit. There's no chain lightning. If there was, the Dreadlord would have at least been forced into that potion of invulnerability. Just looking towards the bases a little bit, yeah. KraV is really cooking economically right now. There you go, Neo. There's the first one of the day. The Dreadlord of his is going to be level 5 in no time if it isn't already. Oh, it's very, very close, though. And more footmen. It's just footmen all day for Elegnem, trying to continue to pressure the base.
You know, Elegnem has not made another unit type this entire series so far.
Yeah, true.
He hasn't even teched a tier 2
Yeah.
or gotten a blacksmith, so he doesn't even have an option to build a different type of unit.
Keeps
Meanwhile,
the game
we
simple.
have KraV going for double slaughterhouse and adding a temple of the damned. He's researching exhumed corpses. And we all know what that means. We're gonna see mass meat wagons with a side of necromancers.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, definitely we'll have some skeletons, necromancers, and meat wagons, which, honestly, at this stage, they could probably build whatever they want. At this stage, they could probably build mass moonwells and win with just 2 heroes. They want to have some fun with units, too. Would not be surprised to see Mr. Bucky go tier 3 and put down some Chimroofs as well, something like that. But maybe he just wants to keep on building Huntresses. Zeppelin purchased. And we're going to have a drop into the human base, similar to what Dice was doing with the Demon Hunter earlier. We're going to see the Warden do just that now, and a whole lot of peasants are looking to go down.
Yeah, honestly, like, just the armies that currently exist are overwhelming.
Yeah.
If KraV and Starbuck don't make another unit for the rest of the game, they could still pretty easily win.
And now the Town Hall going to be killed by the Huntresses. We're in sort of a pseudo base race situation, but with only footmen against a level 5 Warden, once that mana pot is purchased, you're not going to have much more DPS against this tree. And there's the fan. Warden, not to mention, on her way to level 6 already. And this is pretty difficult now for Elegnem and Chiller.
Yep, we have a bunch of footmen fighting a level 5 Warden. We all know how that's going to go. Maybe they'll get a Shredder kill. Dreadlord is here as well. What is his, build? I think he has level 2 Carrion Swarm at level 5. Warden hits level 6, of course. Are we going to see an Avatar of Vengeance, or is Bucky going to be a little more flashy? Nope, just Avatar of Vengeance to kind of close out the series. A Fan of Knives to top it off. And 2 units left for the human and orc team.
Yeah, the Huntresses come back. One hunt, or no, just a Zeppelin left over. The Town Hall already dead. And there's the GG. This time, not splitting the difference, not each doing 1G, each doing 2Gs, and it was well worth it because it was very well played from Starbuck and KraV, showing their dominance in this tournament.
That's what you get when the strongest one-on-one players in this tournament are also a team and play together for years, and they're up against the lowest seeded team. But I feel like the boys had some fun here in this best of 3.
Yeah, you could say that. It seemed like they got to spread their wings a little bit and try some strategies out and see. Because, these sort of strats, they probably work all the time on ladder, like these sort of weird, cheesy things, hiding barracks. I mean, you probably beat almost every single player on the ladder. I wouldn't be surprised if they even beat some of the top teams on the ladder with these strats. But when you're playing some of the best 2v2 teams in the world, it's cool to be like, okay, let's test it. Do these work? And the answer is apparently no. But it's fun to test, I'm sure.
Starbuck and KraV also just happened to do builds that were resistant to these kind of pushes, like double ghoul openings or just double undead with a Crypt Lord. And even when Dreadlord, even when KraV goes to Dreadlord, his ally kind of makes up for the early game weakness by massing Huntresses. So yeah, I'm not sure if that kind of strat is ever going to work out against Starbuck and KraV, who are playing relatively safe.
They did. So that means we have all 4 quarterfinals done. And that leads us to the semifinal next week, where Carson, unfortunately, will not be with us. I don't know if there's anything better to do in the world than casting 2 and 2, but I really hope Monk is going to be there with me again.
I will certainly try. Hopefully, it's at a slightly better time for me. I believe it's like at 6 or 7 a.m. for me instead of a 4 a.m. start.
Some of the days.
Okay.
Maybe we can rearrange that a little bit to make it more pleasant for you.
No problem.
Alrighty. Yeah, but this, of course, leads us also to the very, very sad moment where we have to say goodbye to Monk, because for the one-on-ones, we need myself and Carson and Remo together. So, Monk, anything to plug?
Well, I'm starting a competing sports brand drink, of course, but you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear probably about the game I'm working on in my spare time, which is called Stormgate. We are a bunch of ex-Blizzard developers who are trying to create the next great Blizzard-style RTS. You can find out more about us at playstormgate.com, where you can see some of our pre-alpha gameplay reveals. You can also, if you want to support us for very free, very low price of free, you can support us by going to Steam. You see Neo kind of mousing over that right now. Go to Steam and wish listing us on Steam. This helps us get higher on the Steam algorithm, which allows us to show the game off to even more players. So if you have some spare time, please just go to the website, click the link in order to go to wishlist on Steam and support the future of RTS.
Very, very grateful for what you do. You and the team, of course, that you include some War3Champions developers on that journey as well. And very grateful that you get up at 3:30 a.m. to cast the twos with us. Have a wonderful rest of the day, man. And that leads me, of course, to the plugs for War3Champions and the crowdfunding that we're doing here. We are gathering funds for all the players. One-on-one players, two-on-two players, FFA players need to be rewarded. And you can help with that here on Match Arena. It's a Season 15 Finals, 2 weekends full of Warcraft 3 action. We had the Madman, that is Kleine Schildpad, already putting in $1,000. So B2W Schildpad in the chat to celebrate this person a little. You guys can help as well by buying these profile pictures. Archmage, Warden. We've seen an impressive Warden in the last map. You can pimp your profile to look just as impressive than the hero we just saw. Also Shadowhunter and Crypt Lord available. $5 a piece, and it goes directly into the prize pool. If you're pretty wealthy or found some coins between the cushions, you can contribute directly without buying these profile pictures, of course, as well. And we got sponsored quests up, for example, from Method. If you subscribe here, you get you put $1 into the pool just like that by the click of your finger. And if you want to help War3Champions on their journey to make the best Warcraft 3 server even better, you can reach out to them. The people have carried the Warcraft 3 scene on their backs for 3.5 years at this point. And some of them are a little burned out. They might need some help. They might need some replacement coders. And you can help them if you can code C#, .NET, React, Rust, TypeScript, or Node. You can also join the moderators team if you want to help keep this friendly environment that is War3Champions. And you can help us create some more exposure for the server to gather more people onto War3Champions if you are experienced with social media. If you can handle a Twitter or Instagram account and a Discord account, hit them up. And we are creating a new launcher that is independent from the Battle.net and Blizzard menus, which makes the game a little more stable. So if you are a graphic designer or a UI UX designer that would like to help with that, there we go. That's your chance. Go to the Discord. It's on the W3C homepage, and you'll find it. Next up is the one-on-one section of the day, and that's gonna be a banger one. We got Sock versus Cini, we got Happy versus PCG, and we got the winners match, all coming after us a little